So I wanted to get my toddler some new clothes for fall and winter, but I also wanted to be very intentional about it. Kids' clothes can add up very quickly, which is crazy because they're so small. One would think that tiny sweaters would equal a tiny price tag, but unfortunately, that's not always the way it works. So with that being said, as I put this wardrobe together, I tried to be as mindful and intentional as possible. I thought about sizing and how she might grow over the course of the next 6 to 7 months. I thought about her mobility in each outfit, our normal day-to-day activities and what I would like her to wear for those, her color palette, the type of material I was choosing, the longevity of each piece and its potential to last us not only through this next fall and winter, but potentially through future seasons for future children, and the upfront cost. I want to touch on all of this later on in the video so that if you're interested, you can create your own capsule wardrobe for your own child in the most intentional and optimal way possible. But for now, let me show you what I got. So I got most of the stuff from H&M. I love H&M for kids stuff. I also got some of her accessories, especially from Amazon. I love the Baby Gap and I love Little Co, but this season I saw more stuff that I liked from H&M, so I wanted to order as much as I could from one store. I'm curious though, if you guys have a favorite brand for kids clothes, drop it in the comments, let me know below because I'm always on the hunt for some adorable, tiny clothes. So for this capsule wardrobe, I did 15 core pieces and then I did some accessories on top of that, like socks, shoes, a beanie, bows, but I try to keep that minimal as well. So with that being said, I'll start with the core pieces and then I'll show you the accessories that I got. And then we'll get into what you might want to think about if you want to recreate a capsule wardrobe of your own for your children. Okay, so starting off with dresses, I did stick to 2 casual dresses. So I got this little tiny sweater dress with this little like skirt on the bottom. It is so cute. For some reason, it just like screams fall Disneyland day to me. I don't know. But I could definitely pair this with like some knee-high socks or even some leggings if it's really cold. And I love this one because it's like really soft and kind of slouchy, so she'll be able to move around in it great. So much so that it's something she could even play in at the park if she wanted to. I also want to mention, like, if you do go with H&M, they're constantly having sales, so make sure you look out for like a 20% off, or sometimes they'll have tiered sales depending on how much you spend. So when I order from them, I always do wait for that. So just a helpful hint. Then I got this cute little dress. It's adorable. I really wanted to get this one because it reminds me of dresses that I would dress her in when she was a little baby last year. And it definitely gives me like super fall vibes, but I feel like it's not so fall toned that I couldn't put her in it in the winter as well. Now this dress, it is a 2-piece. It's a sweater and then the kind of overall skirt. So I did end up counting this as 2 pieces, even though I probably wouldn't have like selected this one on its own because it's so light. And you know, toddlers can be a little bit messy. I did feel like this is something that I can definitely mix and match with like all the pants I got her. So I decided to count this as 2 pieces. And even though that dress is more casual, I feel like I could put her in it for church. Like it's formal enough where it would pass for church. And so that makes it even more versatile and perfect for the limited capsule wardrobe. Then I got her one fancy dress. This one is definitely for church. I could see her wearing this one to Thanksgiving and this one maybe to Christmas. I don't know, it's not like super Christmassy, but it is pretty. And I like this one a lot because a lot of these like fancier dresses are polyester lined. It's super hard to find a cotton one. And even though it's not cotton on the outside, it's lined with cotton in the inside, which is like what matters to me. I want cotton to be touching her skin as much as possible over like the synthetic fibers. But this one's super pretty and I love it. Moving on to tops, I got her 2 little sweaters, this little polka dot one and this little bow one to keep her warm. These are so cute. And then I got her 2 shirts. I got her this gray one. I got her this one in particular because it is a good color on her, believe it or not. I know some people are against like dressing your kid in dark colors, but she pops in this, so I don't I don't know. It's really pretty with her skin, and it's like a really high quality shirt as well, I feel. And then I got her this little black one because, I don't know, I feel like she looks really good in black as well. And again, it goes with literally everything else in her wardrobe. I got her 4 sets of pants. I know that might seem like a lot, but I like to wash her pants regularly. I don't want to be standing next to the dryer waiting for them to come out. So I definitely wanted some variety. I got these little jeans. They're so cute. They're like the little baggy jeans that are in with all the high school girls. Elizabeth is really gonna be on trend this fall and winter. Then I got these cute little ruffle pants. They have like the little ruffle detail at the bottom. A pair of plain black leggings. And then a pair of flared leggings with like a ruffle detail at the bottom as well. Moving on to outwear, I got her this little button-down cardigan. I thought about getting her pink, but I went with brown instead. I feel like this is something that could be used for a boy in the future as well, if we have a son, you know, down the road. And then I got her this cute little quilted vest. Adorable. I think this one will be really great for layering, and I could really see her like tearing it up at the park, and this thing would still look like brand new. We'll see, but it's my gut feeling. Then I got her this adorable jacket. It's like a little pea coat. I wanted something fancy enough that it could be dressed up, but also like durable enough that she could wear it anywhere and it would be fine. You know, to grandma's house, to the park, the library, I don't know where else we go. But I thought that it looked super cute with her church dress. I think it would be very versatile. We'll be able to mix and match, and she's gonna look so chic. That was everything for the 15 items for the core wardrobe. And then for accessories, I got her a beanie. I want her to be warm. I feel like she really only needs one. We can use this every day. And I did get it in pink because she's a princess. I got her these cute little boots. These were actually on my baby registry. I had no idea like when she was gonna walk. I probably had them in a way smaller size and she probably never would have worn them. But I remember taking them off because at the time they were $50 and I was like, $50 for baby shoes? That's crazy. Anyways, I got them this time for $25, and she's actually big enough to wear them. So these were a good buy in my opinion. Then I got her a pair of Mary Janes. I don't know where the other one is. I think it's in her room somewhere. We'll find it eventually. They're still too big for her right now, so it's fine. But I thought that these could be really dressed up for like church, or I don't know, just more special occasions. They are 100% genuine leather, and the review said that they ran wide, which is important to me because I want her to have healthy foot development. So I was really happy with these ones. Then I got her a pack of socks, just like regular ankle socks, as well as a pack of knee-high socks for dressier occasions. I wanted to get her some gloves like for the park, so this came in a 3-pack on Amazon. They seem like okay quality, but as long as she stays warm. And I didn't want to get her mittens because I feel like there's no mobility in them, so we went with gloves. And honestly, I think that they'll be warm enough for where we live. If we lived in a colder climate, you know, it would be a different story, but for us, these will do the trick. And then I did kind of splurge on the bows. I got her this fall pack from Amazon. They're so cute. And then I got her 2 crimson bows. Like, I thought for Christmas this would be really good without buying her a whole Christmas outfit. And then a 2-pack of these little black velvet bows. And that was everything that I got her, and everything that I'm planning on getting her until the weather warms up again in the spring. Is she the most fashionable baby I know? In my opinion, yes. Is her wardrobe better than mine? Absolutely. But I'm okay with that. So the thing about this wardrobe, like I touched on earlier, is literally everything can be mixed and matched, which is like the key to the capsule wardrobe. Every single piece can go with at least one other piece, if not like most other pieces. So even though it's only 15 core pieces, it's going to translate into a bunch of different outfits. As far as sizing goes, I went with 2T. My daughter is currently still fitting into 12-month clothes, but I do have her 18-month clothes out as well. I like to keep 2 sizes out at one time, the size that she's currently fitting into best, and then the next size up, so I can like pull from both and feel like I have double the clothes without buying double the clothes. Now, right now, I'm filming this in the beginning of September, and the 18-month clothes are still like a little bit big on her. Not much, but you know, they don't fit as perfectly as the 12 months do. So 2T felt a little scary for me to size up into, but historically throughout her infancy, she has always been about a size bigger than what she should be based on her age. So since she's 14 months old now, and it's not going to get cold until like around October here, and it will stay cold until May, potentially, I knew that it was important for me to give her room to grow. And to my surprise, when I tried the clothes on her, they were big right now, but they're not ridiculous. They don't look silly. She's not drowning in them. I'm sure some things I need to like kind of roll up, but it's not over the top big. And I'm sure that before the end of the season, they will look perfect. And even if they do end up being big throughout the whole time that she wears them, I would rather have her in slightly too large of clothes than in too tight of clothes that she's squeezing into. Now, I wouldn't have sized up into 3T, but 2T was a gamble that I was willing to take, and I really think it's gonna work out perfectly for us. In addition to me thinking about, will this last us through these entire 2 seasons, I also try to think about, will this piece last me through multiple children? I've bought pieces before that look good online, and then I get them in person and they look kind of thin, but I keep them anyway, and by the end of the season they have holes in them. So what I did this time is I ordered a bunch of clothes and I sent back anything that I didn't absolutely love and that didn't look as high quality in person as it did online. And I really tried to focus on pieces that would stand the test of time and look almost brand new or potentially brand new with the next kid. For example, this white vest. Originally, I was gonna get her a fluffy cotton vest, but when I got it in person, it looked like it was already old. And this one did not. You know, this one looks very, very durable. So I kept this one and took the other one back. There were long sleeve tops that I really loved online, but when I got them in person, they looked cheap and poorly made. You know, sometimes it happens. Not everything that you get is going to be a win. And for me personally, I'm completely okay just like sending things back or taking them back to the store. Another thing I tried to keep in mind while I was curating this wardrobe was, what does our real everyday life look like? You know what they say, dress for the life that you have, not the life that you want. So initially I was tempted to get her more casual dresses, but I don't always love dressing her in dresses in cold weather, especially now that she runs around. And if I do dress her in dresses, then I want them to be things that she can move around in. There's this little black denim dress that I loved so much. It was adorable, but it was stiff. And I could just see her being uncomfortable in it, trying to climb and run and play. So we took it back because it's not functional for the life that we have. And then you take like this dress, like I talked about, it's going to be much easier for her to move around in, to run, to play in. I would even take her to the park in this dress without feeling the need to change her. So I feel like if you keep things like that in mind while you're selecting clothes for your children, you won't end up with pieces that just sit in the back of the closet all season long and never get worn because they're just not practical. Then I tried to think about material. Since she was born, I have tried to mostly dress her in cotton because it's a natural fiber, and wool and silk are expensive. This is pretty easy when they're little because most brands make little baby clothes in 100% cotton. But as they get bigger, you'll see more and more synthetic pieces. And this is concerning to me because polyester is made of plastic, it's an endocrine disruptor, and rayon is typically made in a very toxic process. They can also be more irritating to their little skin. I put her in a polyester sweater that my sister let me borrow, and she was literally like pulling at it, like screaming. Coincidence? Perhaps, but you know, maybe not. I've heard people say that the more natural materials you wear, the more irritating synthetic fibers are to your skin. Anyways, it's super hard to find outwear in natural materials unless you are willing to splurge for something like wool. So as far as outwear goes, I don't worry about it too much. This is synthetic, this is synthetic. I just figure as long as what's touching her skin is cotton, that's pretty good. It can also be tricky with fancier dresses too, so I kind of give myself some grace there. But for the most part, I try to get either 100% cotton pieces or pieces that are at least mostly cotton, preferably like 90%. These sweaters are 80% cotton, 20% polyester. I almost sent them back, but in the end I was like, it's fine. It's fine. For me, following the 80-20 rule and trying to do the best that I can for most of her wardrobe is good enough, and then I can give myself some grace here and there, but I just don't want her to have a completely synthetic wardrobe. I want it to be mostly cotton. That's something that's really important to me. And then the last thing that I did try to keep in mind was the colors that would complement her skin. Now this might sound very extra to you, but it's free 99, so I don't see why you wouldn't just do it. Anyways, basically I did a color analysis on her through a blog. I'll link it down below. Took me like 10 minutes. I found out that she is a soft summer. You see, when she was an infant, a lot of the clothes that I picked out for her were not her shade of pink. We'll just put it that way. They washed her out, made her look more red in her little newborn skin. But as I like bought her more clothes, tried different colors on her, there were colors that I noticed like really popped on her, really brought out the blue in her eyes, really just made her glow. And so I ended up doing a color analysis on myself, warm autumn, and I thought, why not just do it really quick for my daughter? Anyway, so I took that color analysis and I used the palette to pick out the pieces. For example, she looks really good in grays. Cream is in her palette. Navy is in her palette. This shade of pink, this muted brown color. So while some people might look at this wardrobe and think, those aren't baby colors, I look at this wardrobe and I know that I thought about what colors look great with her skin, are going to make her shine and radiate, and she's going to look so beautiful in every single one of these outfits. And I'm so excited. And also I feel like you have to keep the season in mind. You know, I was going for winter and fall colors. I wouldn't dress her in such dark tones all year round. The season does matter. Narrowing this down to 15 items was a little challenging for me. There were a lot of cute clothes. I wanted another church dress. I wanted that black denim dress. I wanted more shirts. But in the end, I had to remind myself, she is a toddler. She is going to grow out of this wardrobe in 6 to 7 months. Yes, I'm intending for these pieces to last for future children, but even still, it's a kid's wardrobe, and she doesn't need 20 to 30 core pieces. This is enough. This will get us through without spending an arm and a leg. All in all, I am super happy with all of the choices that I made. I am super excited for it to cool down so I can start dressing her in these pieces. I love fall. I love clothes. I love my baby. And I just think it's so fun to put all those things together and make this beautiful wardrobe for her. And I don't know, I think for me it goes beyond just like the superficial of it all. When I was a kid, I wasn't like always dressed the nicest. My hair wasn't always like super kept. And I feel like it really affected my confidence. But I want my daughter to go through life knowing that she is lovely, she is worthwhile, she is worth the effort of picking her out cute clothes, dressing her in them, and putting a pretty bow in her hair. I want everyone to see how beautiful she is inside and out. And more importantly, I want her to know it. And my hope is that she will grow up one day and look back on these toddler pictures of her in her pretty fall outfits and know that she was so loved and so cared for and so beautiful, and she was worth it. Maybe she won't care. Maybe she will, but all I know is I'm excited for fall. Well, that is it for my 15 item fall toddler capsule wardrobe. What a mouthful. Make sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. It's free and it helps me out so much. Subscribe for more super cozy, intentional content on motherhood and the home. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.